This is Alvissmal, the story of the words of Allwise the dwarf and his interaction with Thor. Allwise said, "Get the benches ready. Now I'm coming home with a bride in tow. It may not seem likely to the others around me, but I won't sleep when I get home." Thor said, "Who is this man? Why are you so pale around the nostrils? Did you spend the night with a corpse? It seems to me you have a monster's appearance. You have no business seeking a bride." Allwise said, "I am named Allwise. I live beneath the earth on my underground estate. I came to visit you, Thor, lord of the goat chariot. No one will make me retract my words." Thor said, "I will decide that, since I am the bride's father, and it's I who gets to say about her. I was not home when she was promised to you. The girl is my daughter, and a goddess." Allwise said, "Who is this man who speaks for the beautiful lady? You scoundrel! Probably no one would defend you. Who gave you those rings that you wear?" Thor said, "I am named Thor. I'm a wide-traveled man, and son of long-bearded Odin. If I don't consent, you'll never get the girl. You'll stay unmarried forever." Allwise said, "I'd like to have your consent, and I'd certainly like the bride. I would rather have her than have to live without that girl, who's lovely as snow." Thor said, "This girl's love will never be yours, my clever guest, if you dare leave this house without telling me what I want to know about every realm." "Tell me, Allwise, since I think you know everything about everyone, dwarf, what is the earth called that people walk on in every world?" Allwise said, "Men call it earth, the Aesir call it soil, the Vanir call it road, giants call it green, elves call it grower, high gods call it clay." Thor said, "Tell me, Allwise, since I think you know everything about everyone, dwarf, what do they call the sky swirling above us in every world?" Allwise said, "Humans call it heaven, the Aesir call it windland, the Vanir call it windmaker, giants call it upworld, elves say the high roof, dwarves say the drip house." Thor said, "Tell me, Allwise, since I think you know everything about everyone, dwarf, what do they call the moon? It's easy to see in every world." Allwise said, "Humans call it moon, gods say changer, in hell they call it the turning wheel, the giants call it hurry, dwarves call it shiny, and the elves say year counter." Thor said, "Tell me, Allwise, since I think you know everything about everyone, dwarf, what do they call the sun? It's easy to see, too, in every world." Allwise said, "Humans call it sun, gods say southern ball, dwarves call it Dvalin's toy, giants say everglow, elves call it the beautiful wheel, the Aesir say all clear." Thor said, "Tell me, Allwise, since I think you know everything about everyone, dwarf, what do they call the rain-making clouds in every world?" Allwise said, "Humans say clouds, but gods say hope of rain, the Vanir call them wind floats, giants hope of hail, elves say weather causers, in hell they call them helmets of the hidden." Thor said, "Tell me, Allwise, since I think you know everything about everyone, dwarf, what do they call the wind which travels so widely in every world?" Allwise said, "Humans call it wind, the gods call it blower, the holy say noisemaker, giants call it the screamer, elves say noisy traveler, in hell they call it stormy." Thor said, "Tell me, Allwise, since I think you know everything about everyone, dwarf, what do they call it when the wind stands still in every world?" Allwise said, "Humans call it calm, the gods say unblowing, Vanir say wind stop, giants say stop blowing, elves call it days sleep, but dwarves say days faint." Thor said, "Tell me, Allwise, since I think you know everything about everyone, dwarf, what do they call the sea that boats are rowed on in every world?" Allwise said, "Humans call it ocean, gods prefer the name sea, Vanir call it restful harbor, giants say eel home, elves call it ore place, the dwarves say deep, deep sea." Thor said, "Tell me, Allwise, since I think you know everything about everyone, dwarf, what do they call fire, which burns in before our eyes, in every world?" Allwise said, "Humans call it fire, the Aesir call it flame, Vanir call it warmer, giants say the bold one, dwarves call it burner, mover is its name in hell." Thor said, "Tell me, Allwise, since I think you know everything about everyone, dwarf, what do they call the woods that grow before our eyes in every world?" Allwise said, Humans call them the woods, but gods say wool of the plains. Other men call them hill-hilts. Giants call them firewood. Elves say pretty leaves. The Vanir call them wands. Thor said, "Tell me, All-Wise, since I think you know everything about everyone, Dwarf. What do they call the night, child of Norvi, in every world?" All-Wise said, "Humans call it night. Gods say the darkness. The holy gods say the masked one. Giants call it the unlight. Elves say good to sleep in. Dwarves say queen of dreams." Thor said, "Tell me, All-Wise, since I think you know everything about everyone, Dwarf. What do they call seed that is sown in the earth in every world?" All-Wise said, "Humans call it barley. Gods say grain. Vanir call it grower. Giants say good eating. Elves call it things to make beer. In hell they call it sunken." Thor said, "Tell me, All-Wise, since I think you know everything about everyone, Dwarf. What do they call the ale that everyone drinks in every world?" All-Wise said, "Humans call it ale. The Aesir call it beer. The Vanir call it wine. Giants call it cleansing drink. But in hell they say mead. The giant sons of Suttung call it toast." Thor said, "I've never seen a single creature who knew so much old lore, but I have deceived you, All-Wise, with a terrible lie. You're still up, and it's dawn, Dwarf. The sun shines in the hall." Now, if you're not familiar with dwarves, when the sun comes up, they turn to stone. And Thor was essentially tricking All-Wise the dwarf into staying in the sunlight when it comes up so that he turns to stone, so that his daughter will not be wed to such a horrible, ugly creature. This is a fun story. It talks a lot about the lore in Norse mythology. It's kind of like the last lore video I did, Alvissmal, which is a discussion between two intelligent beings about the lore of the world. So, an interesting look into some of the more esoteric things about Norse mythology. Anyway, thanks for listening.